Well, surprise, surprise. My friend decided to let me paint it after all. He was adamant at first that it wouldn't be original, and I understand that completely. However, he's probably never going to sell it in his lifetime. And original and spectacular is one thing. Original and nice is another thing. Original and covered in white paint splotches, for me, if it were original, it wouldn't have white paint splotches. Let's put it that way. So he finally said, you know, go ahead and do it. So we're going to do it. I'll have to redo some of the felt, which not a big deal. He supplied it, so it's not and of course I can save all the drawers, so they won't need anything. And I have to be careful not to get paint on the signature. On the signature on the inside. I'll have to mask it. But again, there's those white dots, and I just can't see that as being quality original. Now we're going to lose this look here, and I don't have a problem losing that. I don't think it's attractive. I like the fact that it's been used. I'm not going to repair it. I'm just going to paint over it. Pray that it looks good. So I'm going to disassemble. Get all my correct size. Oh, and I am going to polish all of this hardware. So I won't polish it to death, but I'll certainly make it shine like nickel chrome would shine after being used a while. Isn't that neat? And I'm going to use the drawers to keep the parts together. I think I'll leave that felt in there and use it as a mask. Pull it out afterwards so I don't have to be concerned about getting paint on the board where there never has been any. These this is mostly just grubby. It's a lot of things on this case you wouldn't expect. I was wondering how they did the corners. That's just folded this way, overlapped, and then wrapped under. If that made any sense. There's a seam right there. And the owner may watch this, he may not. But I'm going to assure him right this minute that, Tom, the screwdriver fits the screw head the right width. He taught me that a long time ago, and it's come in very handy because it really saves a lot of screws from being top stripped or messed up. So thanks, Tom. So it appears these are also rivets, although this one's out, so I'm not sure. Now this is a screw in the bottom. I gotta get down there so you can see it. So this one's missing a screw. Let's see if I can come up with something that'll replace that. Don't know if those used to be screws, which I have a feeling they were, and 100 years of rubbing it across Could have done them in. Or they could just be nails based on their location. So those are loose. Feels they're nails, just big tacks. There you go. Hallelujah. All right. I wonder if I shouldn't. Just leave it alone. Alrighty. Go collect Dremel tools and clean all of these stationary things, and I'll be back. So I've got this little rotary tool. I think, if I'm careful, run it slow as it'll go, I can clean that dirt off of there, slowly and patiently. Try not to push. So I don't know if you can see. And I doubt if you want to be bored, watch me clean all the edges, screws, nuts, and bolts. But you can see where there's still chrome, chrome will stay. Where there's not, chrome won't be there. So it'll look better and clean. I'll bring you back when I get done. Well, I'm back this morning and it looks like everything dried nicely. Not leave marks when I touch it. So I don't have to worry about rubbing spots. That was a concern in my mind about if you used it, it could leave marks where you touched it. Now, if you had oily skin or oily hands, I suppose that still could be the case. I'll clean up a little bit here. Today, I think what I'm going to do is I have soaked those all night, and as you can see, a lot of dirt came off of them, but it'll still need some rubbing. So that is my next thing to do. Some more scraps here I can use. Probably won't bore you with much of this. I think that looks pretty good. This is what it looked like before. This is what it looks like with a little scraping, and I'll polish it a tiny bit more, but I don't want it to be too perfect. I can't. It's actually pitted, so we'll just do the best we can. So I'll be back after I polish these. I won't bore you with that whole process. Well, I spent a good hour plus polishing the pieces. Some of the chrome was just gone, so that's now bare steel. There was a light layer of rust. Underneath that was a tiny bit of brass, but I'm going to lacquer them, so at least they look better than just being rusty completely. I couldn't do anything more. And like I said, I tried to do everything as lightly as I could without ruining any patina. So now I'm on the way to just put things back. I doubt if you want to be bored with that whole process. So what I'll do is finish it, come back. So I replaced the felt where I had overspray on it. And now this works. Put the drawers back in. I got all the hardware on, as you can see. I lacquered the hardware. Well, I guess this one does go. I talked to myself and then I stopped for a few minutes. So, the thing I can think of that is missing looky there. So before, this wouldn't stay up because the holes were wore out. I don't think those are the original handles for some reason on the door fronts, because there is a space here, but they were there when he got it, and they may be original and the wood is swollen. Who knows? It's just so hard to say. Well, I did everything I could. I tried different patterns. I tried everything I could. There's several issues I have. One is the shape of this is not consistent. I don't want to bend this wire and make it not his original piece. And if I did that leather on there like I was talking, hope you can see me. Every time you pick it up, it was going to twist, and that seam was just, it was going to spin. The only other way I could do it is do it in wood. And cut the wood in half, cut a groove and glue that in, and I was going to do that, but it's still not the correct shape. It just didn't, I just couldn't do it. So what I'm going to do, and I experimented a little already, I'm going to cut a wooden handle. I'm going to round the wooden handle into a handle shape. It's not the same shape as this, but it is the same width. It's a more balanced, even shape. At least it should be by the time I'm done. I'm going to just put this in a drawer and keep it for posterity. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to drill in and put nails in and a washer on it so it will connect and hold into these top things. There's a little groove there and the washer goes behind it. And I think I can use that same system like this. Of course, I'll cut down this wood so where it's at the outer edge of that. But I think I can use that same system on something stiff, maybe even a screw with a washer on it versus a nail. Something that won't bend and or break. I'll work that out. But in the meantime, I just think that's a better solution for my sanity, because I could not, for the life of me, figure out a better way to do it. And then it'll just, it's old white oak, it'll just match the rest of the drawers when I get done, I hope. If not, I'll put the old wire back on there and say, couldn't help you. I'll be back. So here I am a little bit later. That was the original. This is what I made. It looks pretty good. Once I haven't sanded it much. I've sanded it some, I think. And I drilled holes in there. And I think this will look, I got a temporary screw in there, don't panic. I'll get it to stand up for just a second. Well, I guess I can hold it and you can go, oh yeah. That looks pretty good. So again, I'll sand it and shape it a little bit more. Put the original rivets back in. So now I gotta get these screws. I pre-drilled the holes. They're at that angle, and then I'm gonna hopefully bend these screws at the right angle so this washer will fit into there. But we'll see if it works. Wish me luck. Well, there it is. It's a little out of shape. It's better than whatever I did with the wire. Oh, it's better than this. But it was out of shape too. Is that a good enough excuse? There we go. Now with any luck, you'll be able to see the difference just from the finish. What it'll do to that stain and wood. Bring out the colors of the oak. Guess I should have masked just a hair better, but it'll be okay. Okay, there it is. I'm happy with it. If it were me, if I was spending money on it, I'm not sure I would be as happy. Since I did it to him for the experience, I don't think he'll complain, and I'm certainly pleased. So now you can see the... Oh, I got it latched, so these little pins drop, and I do that every time. I don't want the handle to flip around though and get varnish on everything. So there's the... Oops. Finished product. I'd be happy to carry that around. Alrighty, that's a wrap up of another one. Hope you're finding this pleasurable, and you'll watch the next one. Don't know what it'll be, but hopefully it won't be another box, but you just never know what's going to come in.